This video, and all our others like it, are sponsored by our Patreon page. Making these videos has a cost, and your support helps to offset that cost and allow us to keep doing this. The Beats Studio Pro are a $350 pair of noise-canceling headphones designed by Apple under their Beats by Dre brand. This brand needs no introduction and has plenty of exposure from popular influencers. The Studio Pro ship in a sustainable box built from recycled materials and ship with the usual pamphlets you'd expect. They ship in a carrying case that fits the headphones along with a USB-C and headphone cable. The Type-C cable does support wired playback for most devices, but some devices do not support them over USB, so you need to use the analog cable, which is not a combo jack. The Studio 3 before this had an inline mic with the analog TRS cable, so we don't see why that couldn't have been included here. The Studio Pro is marketed as a high-end noise-canceling headphone for those with an on-the-go lifestyle. Beats' reputation as high-bass trash-tier headphones precedes them, and when they first launched, they definitely were. This review is from the perspective of people who love listening to music and occasionally making music, but are not audiophiles or anything like that. The Studio Pro sound neutral and very dissimilar to the only ever Beats I've ever heard, the original Studios that were mediocre to say the least. Bass is not overboosted, but lower bass tones are present, and generally songs with a more bass-forward mix sound a touch more rumbly than the more neutral tone would suggest. Those uninterested in an explanation of what these headphones sound like should use the chapters to skip to another section. Sibilants sound harsher than we'd like in the song Misery by Memphis Mayfire. Maddie's voice sounds a bit unpleasant and harsh during some lines, such as from 59 seconds to 1 minute and 5 seconds. Guitar and bass sound crisp, and the low bass tones sound delicious. Joao Medeiros' cover of The Void, the separation of the guitar tones from the other instruments is supported by a good mix, but the lack of sibilance really lets the mix shine through. The same song with vocals sounds amazing until Courtney is allowed to sing, and again we're treated to those piercing sibilants which really don't match the rest of the soundstage. Some might mind this, others may not. That's definitely a personal preference. At lower volumes than you'd usually listen to music, the sibilants aren't an issue as the tone isn't loud enough to show up. Resonance by the Luna sequence is clear, punchy, and detailed throughout. This song provides a good example of exactly what we like most about these headphones. They're extremely well tuned for instrumental forward music with a focus on deep low bass. Drake's IDGAF featuring Yeet has the low-down bass rumble with great clarity through the rest of the mix. Vocals sound pleasant and don't distort noticeably. Artificial Life by Andromeda sounds excellent. Clean and neutral with plenty of bass to get immersed. This pair of headphones is clearly aimed at tracks with a bass-forward mix, and those looking for that experience will likely be well served. We do wish there was onboard EQ via Bluetooth, since that's the main way that people will use these. This pair of headphones was well worth the price we paid, which was $199.99 at our local retailer. This sale price is absolutely excellent and makes the Beats Studio Pro a no-brainer for those looking for an all-around pair of headphones for their daily life. The competition at this price point is not really up to par. The Sony WH-XB910N and JBL Live 660NC are both good options at this price point, but their noise-canceling performance is worse, and they don't sound quite as clean and referencey as these Beats do. They also don't offer the lossless performance that the Beats have. The NC660s are more comfortable by far for most head shapes, and the Sony WH-XB910Ns are more bass-heavy but also a bit muddier. We prefer the Beats quite a bit to both of these pairs, but that should be no surprise. The Studio Pro was designed to a higher price point, $350. And when we evaluate them at that price, we have a hard time not recommending their natural competitor. The WH-1000XM5s by Sony have the best active noise cancelling in the game and can be found for about $325 regularly. The real street price when not on deep sale for the Studio Pros is roughly $300, which is not cheap enough for us to suggest it over the Sonys. The only thing we prefer about the Studio Pro is how it sounds with no EQ, as the XM5 is a bit bassier than we would prefer. But that extra bass still comes attached to the best ANC money can buy for the price, so we forgive them. If the Studio Pro goes on sale for $200 again, they're an amazing choice. At a minimum of $300 and a maximum of $350, look to Sony or Bose for a more comfortable and better ANC experience. Subscribe for more bad opinions. Patreon is below.